What up, what up, what up? It's Ibn Webb, Ib Webb, Karana Sum here. Official things thing going down here. Tim Williams, monster. We just talk about playing ball, what have you here. Guaranteed buckets. Special, special. Was on that wish list of mine. Was able to get him. So we got him. I'm just going to sit back. We're going to chop it up for a sec. So hold tight. All right, I think we getting somewhere. Peace.
Yeah, I got it. Peace.
I know all this technology, man. I know I need to just get my butt down there and just do everything live right on the spot here. So but nah, thanks Tim for jumping on and doing this, dog.
You got it, bro. You got it. Anytime.
Nah, how you been?
I've been all right, man. You know, just making it. That's it.
No, definitely, man. Family, everybody good, man. I know it's crazy out here, man, but everybody, good, safe and sound.
Yeah, everybody good. We doing the regulars, just trying to live every day. That's it.
Yes. Nah, and living, man, like I said, because we only get one shot at this, man. So we gotta have a blast, man.
Okay.
We gotta have a blast, man. So with that even said, man, I'm getting nosy here. I know we talked before, man. So whatever you care to share, don't share. I don't care, man. I'm just so delighted to have you on, man. Because when I started doing this huge wish list, I ain't never gonna get to everybody, man. But if I could get somebody here and there that I had on it, male, female, what have you here, like I'm excited, and you was one of them. So like I said, I'm glad I was able to find you here.
Hey, yo, listen. Well, I was excited to do it. Like I told you when you first called me about it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Mm-hmm. When I get ready, I'm gonna do it. Do it. So I'm here now. So
nah, cool, man. We dive right into it, man. So obviously, growing up in Newark, or what have you, you're from Newark originally, or you ended up in Newark?
No, I'm originally from Newark.
Okay. What part of Newark?
I grew up on like the Springfield Avenue area, 10th Street, down that area. Then after, about like 12, 13, when I moved up to the Velsburg area, I had to move up there with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. So that's where I've been at ever since, up in that area.
Only sibling?
No, I got a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I think I got like six sisters and like 5 brothers, man.
Yeah.
My father wasn't playing around.
Nah, it's all good. A lot of love there, man. It's all good, man. Your childhood, in regards to that, I mean, like, what was it like for you just growing up, man? How was you as a kid?
I'm the baby of the family, so I always, kind of got my way. Like I said, I have a lot of brothers and sisters, so up under them, you always get picked on when you're the youngest. You get pushed around, After a while, you got to go tell your parents till you get big enough to fight back. But I got pushed around a lot, being that I was the youngest.
Yeah.
They push you to the side, be like, "Oh, I'm out of here. You too little to do anything." You know what I'm saying? So that's how I went during the childhood.
Yeah, what you get into as far as activity-wise, man? What you get into?
You know what? My brother always had me into like everything. Like whatever he did, he felt like I should be doing. So he would go out and play football and have me playing football and stuff like that. When he played basketball, I played basketball. I would pick every team he had when I was younger, like. And that's basically how it went down. Like, I would follow everything he do, and that's how I got into sports.
Yeah. What was your first, you was a football guy first, or was it always basketball?
That was me, because that's what he introduced me to. So all I knew was I was kind of like, he used to call me Baby Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
They always had me carry the football and run behind him and be like, yeah, my little brother, he like Earl Campbell.
Nah, I can see that. I could totally see that, man. They grabbing your jersey, you just got shoulder pads on, your jersey. I could totally see that.
Little was one out there, but if I got hit too hard and started crying, oh no, you ain't coming no more. You can't come no more. So I had to learn how to suck it up at an early age.
Yeah. Now, did you wind up playing organized? Was it football, basketball, have you? Or pretty much was you just around the way?
It was like basically around the way. You know how you did around the way. Everybody played your block. You played different blocks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We would travel to different playgrounds and stuff, or even in like graveyards and stuff. I know
Yeah,
that.
I remember the grade. Yeah, yeah.
We used to play in the graveyards and get all banged up and stuff like that. But that's how I got introduced to football and stuff.
Yeah, nah, crazy you mentioned that whole graveyard thing. I was back at the crib not too long ago. I grew up in Dodgetown up in Orange Hill, so we was around the graveyard. And my little one, because I told her she got a crazy memory to be 8, but she rode past the cemetery. She's like, "You used to play football," you said back, and then I was like, "Yeah." She just kind of looked at me with this like you crazy as hell. I mean, that was in her own little words, but I could tell exactly that's what she's probably thinking. So I get it. Just playing, like you said, playing other blocks, cemetery, you name it, wherever it had to go down at.
That's how we used to come home with all type of injuries and everything. Kept going back though. Being in the place, so you kept going back. That's how that was how we did it around the way. Especially in the hood, you go play different blocks, you go get right, hey, you get hurt, I'll be back next week again.
Yeah. Now, where'd you go to grammar school at?
I actually went to I went to Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
Elementary school, went there until like the 4th grade. Then I ended up going to Camden Middle, which is now they call it Bard Academy.
Okay.
But that's where I went to elementary school at Harriet Tubman at Camden Middle.
Yeah. How'd you end up going to North Tech? I mean, again, I know that wasn't the school by the crib here. So how that all end up?
All right, so it's funny because I actually started I work at Westside now. So I actually started at Westside. So I went there my freshman year, played, and actually I played JV and did good. So I thought, I kind of got upset with them because I thought I should have been playing varsity because I was doing so good.
Yeah.
My freshman year, but they didn't put me on it. So that summer I went. I was playing with my cousin Lance because he had already been at North Tech.
Okay.
I was with my cousin Lance, and they needed somebody to play because North Tech was short one day up in Orange at the summer league.
The summer league, yeah.
I went up there and played with them, and I had a couple good games, and Coach Gary asked me, what was I doing about school? So I said, I really didn't want to go back to Westside because I felt like I was getting jerked, as they say.
Yeah.
With the playing time and not playing varsity. So that's how I ended up transferring there. And my cousin like, yeah, you come here. That year they was already good. They
were loaded. Yeah, they were loaded. Yeah.
It was 31-1. So I ended up going down there. They took me in, and the rest was history. I just kind of started playing, and when I got down there, I felt like that's where I should have been. That's the type of place I should have been anyway. Being that they had a good team, so I felt like I could just add on to that team. And I was only like a sophomore. I know I was kind of cocky when I said That's why I felt like and I said I ain't gonna sit on the bench for no team.
That's right. Nah, because
I wasn't winning. And I also felt like I should have been on varsity, which I wasn't. So that was part of the reason why I went to North Tech.
So you transfer over, you playing varsity? I mean, because you're younger than me, so you there with you got Reek there, you got Antoine, you got all of them there too, right?
Yeah, Antoine Hatcher, Anthony Caldwell.
Yeah.
My cousin was still there. So they had the core of their team. They was just adding pieces and for down the road for other years, to keep it going. When I got there, I got on varsity, but being that they were so good, I had to work my way up. So we had a real good JV team there, and Coach Gary saw that I was one of the best players on the JV team, so he kind of moved me up to like varsity. I became like the 8th man after like 4 games. So, but we had a real good team that year, so I didn't really get upset about sitting down a lot.
Now, did you feel you should have been playing though?
Actually, I did. Like every like 2 or 3 games, I felt like I was getting better, and I got moved up. Eventually, I got moved up to where I was playing a lot more. My
Okay.
sophomore year.
Okay.
You know, I was getting in the games. You know, I was happy to get my 3, 4 points at that time.
Yeah.
Getting in the games, I was a sophomore, and you know, as long as they see me in the game, they knew I could play. So I was just, you know, and we was winning. We had a
Yeah.
real good.
No, that definitely was winning. And interesting we talking about this because actually I told Rick I was gonna talk to you. I was like, you got anything you want me to ask him to throw him off? He didn't have anything to ask to throw you off per se, but when I just asked you about the whole sophomore thinking you should have been playing more, like, I mean, because he's just like, man, Barkley, he should have been playing more. But Coach Gary had a thing with them young boys kind of not necessarily playing them, giving them that PT. But you know, that's why he was just like, you felt maybe even the ECTs or even the tournament champions, you think you guys, if you would have played, got in there a little bit more, you think more of a chance of winning both of those? Because y'all was in both of them to win it.
Yeah, we were. You know, actually, by the time we got to the Essex County tournament, I was playing a lot more. I was maybe like the sixth man, seventh man. So, and my confidence kind of grew with that because I got it. You know, I was in the games. The games was heavy. And I did well. You know, they didn't really need me to score because we had Ashley Moo. So
yeah.
All the scoring was being done by him. And I just got in the game and did what I had to do. You know, I felt like I was sophomore. I'm young. I'm gonna get in the game and do what I got to do. That's rebound, putbacks, and stuff like that. So, and actually, my playing time actually kind of grew as got further in the season. And by the time we got to like the state tournament, my confidence was up. So I was ready.
And look how crazy that is as far as even from the year before you at Westside and, you know, JV time, but you get there sophomore year, you talk about building that PT, but in the same breath, y'all had a hell of a run that year. Y'all was, you know, as far as you got that experience early, as far as, you know, the tournament champions, Essex County running deep. I think I went to the finals, I want to say, or at least the semis that year.
Before.
Yeah, but just getting all that experience being that young, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, hey, listen, I was kind of cocky then because we was winning, and then all these, you know, accomplishments and stuff. I was like, yeah, I was ready then. By the time we got to the state tournament, I was good, and you know, Coach Gary had that confidence in me that, you know, just me being a sophomore year, but he felt like he could put me in the game at certain times to give like Will and Antoine a break, a couple minutes. So I had no problem with it.
Yeah. Remember who y'all lost that year, that final game y'all lost to your sophomore year?
We actually lost to we went to the tournament of champions that year. We actually lost to Ira and Brav and them.
Yeah.
So they was like number 2 in the state, somewhere around there. And they eventually, I think, lost to like St. Anthony's or something.
Yeah. No, so that's how that went. Yeah. Y'all lost to Seton Hall.
And listen, all the Seton Hall guys know. I always say I seen Wardell a couple months ago, and I told him, I said, listen, if Tariq hadn't got hurt, we beat y'all that night.
Oh, that Reek got hurt.
Yeah, one of the guys on the team, fella by last name Kana or something.
Mark Kana.
Yeah.
I know Mark. Yeah.
Hit Reek with an elbow, and at the time we was in the game, I think he was either up 1 or down 1. And when he went to the locker room, you know, that's our leader. So, you know, us being young on the bench, we like, oh man, Reek going. So, but we actually stayed in the game, played a good game, was in it. But you know, they got the best of us. But I always tell, I see what I always tell them, yo, y'all are lucky because Reek wasn't in that game. I think I tell them all the time, we'd have probably beat y'all that day.
And what's crazy, so you know, Tariq graduates, you got you junior year, so it's you in the lineup, and I mean, again, what changes then again? Because is it your team right then and then, or how's it going down?
When I came in from that year made me work even harder in the summer.
What did you do during the summer? Did you AAU or you just
I was
played?
with the Rams.
Okay, play with B and all of them. Yeah.
Rams. So and then I got the, I was playing with guys like Elijah, Snap, all the guys that were, we came up with.
Mm-hmm.
Actually had a good summer. We went to the Nationals and stuff like that. So that kind of led me into my junior year, which we were still kind of loaded. We had a senior heavy team, being that, Reek was the only one that graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So we were gonna get Antoine back, but it didn't work out. But we still had the core of our team.
Mm-hmm.
So by that time, when I got to my junior year, I didn't start, but I came off the bench. Actually, I was the leading scorer coming off the bench.
You didn't start your junior year?
Nah, I ain't start my junior year. I was the leading scorer coming off the bench. I was like the sixth starter, as they say.
Sixth starter. Yeah.
When the game, like if the game early in the game down,
Mm-hmm.
Coach got down. He can look down the bench and be like, oh, I got my sixth starter now. Like, here he come.
Mm-hmm.
But I did actually had a good season. From coming off the bench, I was averaging like 17 coming off the bench.
Yeah.
You led the team. Yeah.
How'd y'all do team-wise? I mean, y'all still stayed ranked throughout the year and all that stuff too.
We actually went back to the state championship game.
Okay.
Lost to Burlington Township.
Okay.
Lost to Burlington Township that year. We had a good year. I think it was like 25-4 or 25-5, something like that.
And how was it just playing? What schools did you get up for, man? Because obviously being in Newark, I mean, again, now y'all was independent or y'all was in the conference?
At that time, we wasn't in no conference. We was independent. We was playing a real tough schedule. Like we played St. Anthony's, Marist, Snyder, Jersey City teams. The Newark, but we used to get, being in Newark, ain't nothing like the Christmas tournament. That's all Newark schools. So you get up and at that time we was the school. So when everybody found out Newark Tech was coming in the gym, everybody kind of like, we was the 100 then.
Now y'all won those tournaments while you were there, the holiday tournaments?
Yeah, we won those tournaments. We kind of owned Newark at that time. Really only schools that beat us was like Clifford Scott, of course, St. Anthony's. They was number one in the nation.
Yeah.
We happened to beat Marist and Snyder that year over there at day schools.
This is your junior year, y'all beat them.
Yeah, my junior year, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because they had some players over there too.
Yeah, listen.
Marist, I think it was like John and like John Giraldo, a little guard. And,
rest in peace, my boy
Ross Harris too, yes.
And down there at Williams.
Yeah,
they had a loaded squad though.
And y'all went over there and beat them.
Yeah, we went over. No, excuse me. They beat us over here, but we lost. That's when they was number one. They was number one in the count. In the state.
Okay.
They had to beat St. Anthony. We went over there and beat Snyder.
Snyder, got you. Okay.
I think Snyder had like Rakim Burgess in them.
I remember that name.
We went over there and beat them. Actually, that was like back to back. We beat them, but we actually lost to Marist over here by 1 point. And that was a game we should have had. We had the ball late. Somebody missed the layup, and there it was. But they knew we was ready though at that time.
Now, you remember who y'all lost to in the counties that your junior year?
Was it Montclair? I think Montclair.
Okay.
And it was weird, like we just didn't shoot well against them. And Montclair had all that size with
the big boys, yeah.
They had a pretty decent team. That was one of the teams like people didn't talk about, but they had a real good team. They actually, I think, went to the finals that year in the county.
The semis, they did it to the semis. Yep. They went to the semis that year.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
They beat us, and we happened to be the number one seed that year. They beat us.
Yeah, and then I remember your junior year, which was my senior year, y'all played another Montclair school. I mean, y'all wound up taking it to us that year too. I know we
Oh
came,
yeah,
yeah, we came out to the county. Yeah, we can't play y'all down there too.
yeah.
I'm like, damn, you know what I mean, I'm trying to get this W here, but it just didn't work out. Just didn't work out.
I think we played. Did we play y'all? We played y'all too at up there at y'all school.
Your sophomore year, my junior year, yes, that's what
When
Tariq and kid on my team, Dave, they just went at it.
yeah, we were going crazy in that little gym, man. Hitting
Yeah.
shots off the side of the backboard.
Yeah. Nah, they just went at it. I think. Yeah.
It was a good game. I remember that game. I just remember he was hitting shots, Reek hitting shots off the side of the backboard.
Yeah.
We in that little gym. I'm like, oh man, but it was a good game though.
Yeah, no, that was a good game. But and then, like I said, the following year went down there. Y'all just took it to us. Like, all right, this ain't going. We're gonna make sure this is clear and concise. This W here. I know, and it's crazy.
You know, we still family. We ain't mean.
Nah, it's all good. I mean, you know, I could be selfish and say I got my share. I guess I just said that shit. So, but all good. Crazy. You say that you didn't start your junior year, but you made third team all county your junior year. Not starting? I never knew that.
When I tell people that, they be like, "How you make all county off the bench?"
I didn't know that.
It's kind of like a story to that. Like as we got later in the year, Coach Gary wanted me to start. You know, going towards the like state tournaments and stuff like that. But I'm like, nah, let Will start. I'm comfortable, coming off the bench because I get, when you coming off the bench, you get to watch the game and know, your movements and what you gotta do. But a lot of people, they kind of drove me for that, like, oh nah, man, like, nah, you supposed to be start. Go ahead and take the starting spot. But I was comfortable with that, and still, did good, and we had a good year. But I still kind of, my boys still kind of drive me for that now. Like, bruh, how you gonna say no to a starting spot? Well, I ended up telling them like, yo, I ended up playing more than him anyway.
Yeah.
So, but then that was kind of like, well, now when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I did make all county off the bench.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And I know in that summer too, that of your junior going to your senior, you still playing with the Rams and doing all that. Did you start thinking about like I could try and play ball college wise around that time too?
Yeah, because at that time I was like honing my game too, because in the summer when I played with the Rams, I wasn't no big man. So I was like a 3 playing with like Demetri Charles and all them. Sean Palmer, Sean McLeod, and them guys. And we had guys, we had Brev and Eli and Halim and them. But I started, that's when B had me working on my game and becoming like a 2.
Okay.
I started working on my game, like elbow jump shots, all that stuff, and ball handling. So that's something I had got a whole lot better. And most of the guys that was on the all-county team, well, first or second team was on that team, on that Newark Rams team.
Okay.
So you ain't had no choice but to get better. And that summer, I had a real good summer. I started getting recruited by like the mid-major schools, the schools that was here, like Ryder, Duquesne and stuff like that. A lot of black colleges and stuff too. They kind of got on me at that point.
Okay. And so you roll in senior year, fresh off the summer, you fine tuning your game, you doing all this stuff here. How's this senior year, man? Like just being there, like it's your show. Ain't no way in hell you coming off the bench now. Wow. So like, how was it for you?
It was, by the time I got to my senior year, I had got spoiled because we had just went down state back-to-back years. So in my head, I'm like, all right, this is my turn. It's my turn to lead the team. I ain't worried. Once I get on this court, I was just, like I felt like nobody couldn't stop me. And we had a good year. We had another good year. We won like 23 games, but we had moved up to like Group 2.
Okay.
So we had made it to like the I think it was like the section semis or something like that, or no, the state semis. It
Okay.
ended up playing Hillside
Okay.
and ended up losing the Hillside by 1. And it's crazy that game. Like the last shot I took, I made, which would have made me have 1,000 points. They ended up calling me for a charge, so I'm one of the ones that really ended up with like 999 points.
That real wild. And it's against Hillside too?
Yeah, it was against Hillside, and most of them cats, which was my Ram teammates like Chimo and Snap, Lamont. Yeah. So they always wanted to remind me of that too. Hell yeah, we beat you, and you ended up with 999 points.
That's crazy, yeah. And you're supposed to
hear that from them.
Nah, you're supposed to get all you with Hillside too. They always have some girls down there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. If nothing else, nah, definitely, man. So all this going on, I mean, you're in a tech school, and I'm asking a crazy question, but not so crazy because you went to a tech school. What was your, did they call them specialties or special? Like, what was your focus?
We was like, well, the first 2 years, it's like exploratory.
Okay.
You go, you get to do every shop, most of the shops in the school. So I ended up doing, in the carpentry shop.
Okay.
That's like building houses and stuff like that. Carpentry shop and making, where you can build desks. Then the second part of the semester you would do like just big projects and stuff. But we are working with your hands. A lot of woodwork, learning how to use the shop machines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because early in the day, you would take your regular classes.
Okay.
And, shop was in the afternoon, and that was maybe like 40 or 50%. No, maybe more than that, like 60% of your grade. So you really had to pass shop to get out of there.
Nah, crazy. Now, even back then, was folks from the outside bringing stuff in so y'all could work and fix on things back then too? Because I know that's like that was the move not too long ago. Folks bringing cars and everything else. Let these students do it. It's free labor.
Like exploratory, you learn they would have like a car in there, so you can learn how to eat and stuff like that. And if you did cabinet making or carpentry, you build like mini models of houses, how to put them together, make rooms and stuff. You learn how to read the blueprints and stuff like that.
Okay.
With the carpentry and stuff. And then, people will ask you, like, let's say they need like a desk made or something, or computer desk, it would be special projects like that we would do for people and stuff. Okay.
Now I'm just curious because like I said, I know as I got older, some folks that was kind of their thing. Like, I get this free next to free labor from these students at these tech schools.
So we got some people that come in and do that.
Oh yeah.
You do this, we give you our pizza party. Pizza party was a big thing there. So.
No, most definitely, man. And this whole college thing, as far as like, what was the process now? The season done before I even jumped to the college, but all right, so you go from third team to first team, on county here. You get your just due as far as that goes here. And that team, I remember it. Let me see. Even though I just left, let me see. It was yourself. It was Brev. It was it Helene? I don't know if it was somebody from Irvington.
It was Suleiman.
Suleiman. Yeah, Suleiman. And then it was Rashawn and Dimitri, I think, right?
Yeah. That's yeah. And it's funny about that. And Brian Crawford to tell you too. That was another clean sweep for the Rams.
Everybody on that. Yeah.
It was like the third year in a row where he had like 5 Rams, all county, first team. That was one of the things we talked about too. And we all, except for like Sue played with us sometimes, but the other 4 all like played years before then playing together. So we kind of knew each other, And back then, you would read the paper to see how
Oh yeah.
You know, the Padre was doing, and me and Ra used to always look at each other papers and stuff to see. Oh, I see Ra had like 30.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I gotta go out and get 30 or better today because I
Oh,
can't let him outdo me. That's what he gonna
mm-hmm.
talk about.
Nah, definitely, man. You know, it was crazy when I talked to this gentleman. I mean, he just like somehow he's like, I should have cracked it. I don't. I'm like, damn. I wish they could have just made a Essex County all 10 for. I don't because Elijah I'm talking about because
Oh yeah.
2 years in a row he was second team. The 2 years in a row, yeah, 2 years in a row he made second. I'm like, damn, how he not on? It's like, damn, who you take off? You know what I mean? It's tough. 5 people you just got to put on that first. That's
Yeah.
tough. That's tough.
Hey, that's my guy. We always talk about
Yeah,
that.
nah.
I don't know what happened. You know, I went from third to first,
Mm-hmm.
but you just spot on second. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
he'd tell me about that. Like, I was like, hey man, we just a little bit better than y'all. It's all right though. You're still my guy.
Nah, man. Definitely great dude, man. Like, so this next level as far as having to graduate and move on with your life here, man. Like, what are you thinking about after you got this team success? You individually you did your thing here, like, but this coming to a close, you're gonna have to walk across that stage come that May June here. So like, what you thinking about if you could recall?
Like as far as like graduation, I was a good student in school, so I was ready to graduate, and I had already, I had already had like colleges
Mm-hmm.
calling for me and stuff. It was actually one college I did want to go to,
Mm-hmm.
but the Newark part kicked in.
Uh-oh.
Like it was Northern Colorado came down.
Okay.
They offered me a scholarship.
Mm.
So I was looking into it. I was going to go there, and because I wanted to go away from home. I had everything at that time. I knew my family was like, yeah, go away from home. You'll be all right. Everything gonna be all right. We're gonna take care of it. So when the guy actually, the coach actually went out to his car to go get the paperwork,
mm-hmm.
when it was taking so long, he came back. When he came back, somebody had stole his car.
So he probably out there looking like, what the hell just happened?
And like we was playing at Essex County. So he went out, I was talking to him, he was talking to my father, so we was waiting on him to come back. He said, give him a minute.
Okay.
So the minute took a real long time. So when he went out to the car, I don't know what happened. He was just like, oh man. And he came back, he's like, yo, is it any police around? I'm like, what happened? Like, I don't have nothing. They just stole my car. So I don't know what happened. I never heard from him no more after that. I guess, he's like, oh no, we ain't dealing. That's what we got to do now. That's how I ain't going back down. So I never heard nothing from him. Mm-hmm. But I would have had to end up going to JUCO anyway because like the core curriculum that we had at Tech,
right,
wasn't like public school. Mm-hmm. So I actually signed with Mobley.
Okay.
Community college. They was actually one of the top junior colleges in the country. Mm-hmm. So I had to leave here and go, maybe like 2 weeks after graduation, I left here and went out there and started, summer school and stuff like that.
Now, where was that at? What state was that in?
Missouri.
Okay, so
like maybe like an hour or two from like the university.
Okay. So you stuck out there. You out there. You coming from straight up city, to like how, was it a culture shock for you? Was your first time out there is when you went to go move in, or did you see it before?
I went out there on a recruitment trip.
Okay.
When I went out there, I'm like, oh man, like
mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a shock because it was just like in the woods, like in the sticks.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, but I actually had it was a couple of guys out there from Newark that was on the team. Kenya Capers.
Oh, Kenya, he was out there. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
He was out there, so it kind of helped my like transition. And he was telling me how it went and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And how the people was the town was it was a really good town. Like the town was behind the team all the time. Mm-hmm. Like when I got there and they recruited me. I got there. Kenya was telling me about it. By the time I met everybody, it felt like I knew him.
Okay.
Because K had told him, like, I got my boy coming down here from Jersey. He gonna, he gonna help us keep winning. So when I got there, we had a lot of support in that town. It was a little town, but we had a lot of support in that town. Everything was Greyhounds because that was our team name, the Greyhounds.
Okay.
Most of the people that, ran the town was our boosters. So they kept a close hand on the basketball and stuff like that. And actually, Mobley had like a rich tradition because like they had one junior college national titles. Had players like Mitch Richmond went there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know the head coach at Oregon. He had coached there.
Okay.
A couple of years before I got there.
Okay.
And he had won a national went to the nationals there. So it had it was a rich, program that had, winning seasons. People that went there that went D1 and stuff like that. Actually, Kenya at the time was one of their big time recruits.
Yeah, the Irvington boys. Yeah, I gotta corner him. I gotta try to find him. But yeah, I've been trying to get him on there. Yeah.
Kate was out of Houston though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he at.
Okay. So you out there, with him and everybody else. Are you playing like, or you gotta earn your stripes again?
You know what? I went out there. I just knew I was real confident when I went out there.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started to learn what I had to do and who I was going to, competing against, I was just ready. And then I had somebody that was there with me that I knew was going to ride out with me if stuff got tight.
Mm-hmm.
I got there and I played real well. I didn't start maybe the first 2 games, but after that I ended up starting. I made the all rookie team.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was I don't even mention all conference.
Okay.
My freshman year there. I actually had a decent season there, 12, 13 points from a freshman. That's good.
Yes.
At that time. So I was real confident in it. We had a good year out there. We ended up losing to I think it was a team called Three Rivers, but they was kind of loaded. They had a couple kids going to Arkansas and stuff like that. But they beat us by about 4 points. But when I got out there, I was ready.
Yeah,
it wasn't a doubt about that.
Now you do the 2 years out there.
Well, actually, the second year, I had left with the coach because he was getting a new job. So I left and went out to Arizona Western.
Okay.
With him. And they was already loaded. We had a good team. I ended up being the 5th or 6th man there because that was a totally different environment. But we had a real good team out there too. We actually went to the semifinals out there in the junior college national tournament. Mm-hmm. Did real well. And now that's why I had a lot of schools from out that area too.
Okay.
Northern Arizona and stuff like that. But I knew I didn't want to stay out. I was just nah, I can't go. Northern Arizona, I went to visit them. Mm-hmm. It just was I'm not going to move from cold to colder because people didn't know the northern part of Arizona get really cold.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I was recruited by school but I ended up coming back home because I wanted to play. I wanted to play with my boy Eli at FDU, so I ended up coming back home to go there. And a lot of my other friends there, my boy, I don't know if you know him, Renthio Swain Mubby.
Yeah, nah. Okay.
He passed away, rest in peace, but he was another good ball player. He was up there. Elijah was up there, Isaac Morgan and all those guys. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of excited to do that. And plus I was close to home.
Yeah, no, you was right there. Now, It's crazy before you even get to that real quick. So you, Missouri, Arizona, you had to grow up pretty fast. Family, everybody home, though you had your teammates and everything else, but you still had to grow up some. So I'm sure socially, all the other stuff, you had to grow up real fast.
Yeah, I was always my father was always I would always ask, at that time my mom had already passed during my my junior year.
Okay.
I was living, like I said, I was staying with my grandmother, and my father always, as far as basketball wise, he just kind of left, like, look, I'm with whatever you want to do. It's your decision.
Mm-hmm.
He was just always, whatever decision you make, I'm with you. And I
Okay.
was, I wasn't one of the kids that the type of kid that would make like a bad decision or something. So I was always, and I was mature enough to be out there by myself. And then because I got along with people, it was something new. I always liked to, travel anywhere. It was something new. I was out there.
Yeah.
And just made the most of it when I was out, because, Arizona, that's a long way from Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, real long way. real long way. And then even along the way, whether it's those two schools or you coming back to the crib to play, how was your game changing? Because again, once it ain't North Tech no more. I know you talked about expanding your game during the summer as far as the B and all of them. Like, would your game continue to evolve and change during that time?
Because I got a little taller then, and that was the time where started to have weights and stuff like that, and I just kept honing my game and working on things that I felt like I was weak in, and getting stronger at things I was already good at. So by that time I was coming home, I was already like, I felt good about my game. Like even when even like the open gyms that we had up there at Fairleigh Dickinson and stuff against the team, I was always doing good. I kind of like, stood out. They knew I could play. Coach knew I could play. Of course, the players knew I could play. But I just had to, as far as like the grade wise, once again, I had to, going up there, I had to get the enough credits and stuff like that. So I had to sit out.
Okay.
I ended up having to sit out. Didn't know that until I got up there, but I ended up having to sit out. Then, paying for, and I didn't get the scholarship right away. I had to, finish the grades to get the scholarship.
Okay.
But the money part just kind of kicked in on me, and I was like, man, I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to do this, because it's kind of expensive to go up to FBU.
Oh yeah. So you make a decision. And that decision was to do what?
That decision was, I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be able to keep on paying. I didn't want to keep, to get myself in debt. So I hooked up with another guy that was a very legendary coach, Coach Brown from Jersey City.
Yes.
So he had got me to where he was like, you could come, and in New Jersey, I don't know if a lot of people know, like, our Division I transfers don't have Division IIs. We transfer to Division III. Okay. So being that, it happened like that, that NJAC conference was one of the toughest conferences in the country.
Serious, yeah.
When I was saying I was going to transfer there, I was like, look, I'm still going to be playing against high level players. So I ended up transferring there, and we had a good team there with Ad Madison, my boy Donnell, Omar Cooper, my boy Majid. So when I got there that half a year, we ended up going to we ended up in like the D3 tournament.
You get any looks at the basket? I mean, you mentioned a couple of players there, so I know.
Yeah. Listen, it was kind of funny. They trusted me a lot, so I got the ball. They knew that.
Yeah, they know I'm just messing around with them, man. But yeah.
So Omar always was giving me the ball. He was like, yo, I like passing you because you got good hands. You have good hands with Omar, he ain't giving you that ball.
Yeah.
And Ab and them. So we had a good year. Coach Brown, very good coach.
Yes.
He will teach you how to play the right way, stuff like that. Even though, he kind of took some of the swag from us. At that time it was black socks, long shorts, black sneakers. He like, nah, we gonna do it my way. We gonna wear the color we wear, that I want you to wear. That black sock stuff. Now you gonna look presentable. You gonna get your hair cut before a game and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I love playing under Coach Brown. Very good coach. Always knew what he was doing in any situation, and he would, And he would talk to you about life, not only basketball.
Right.
You know, like life, tell, what you do, you need anything, what you gonna do for the summer. And at that time I just had my little daughter, so he was asking me about that. Am I good with that? How the family situation, and I was just telling him because he actually met my grandmother, he met my father, and so he knew I was all right. But Coach Brown was always about all aspects of a player, basketball, life, school, everything.
Definitely.
I took to that culture.
Nah, I got to get down there too, because obviously Mark and Ab are both down there still. I got to get to a game.
Coach Ab, the assistant coach.
Yeah, I got to get to a game. I definitely do. Nah, so all that college and all this other. Did you know what you wanted to do with your life when basketball started bouncing? Stop bouncing. Excuse me.
I actually wanted to do be like an agent or something like that.
Okay.
I actually wanted to be like an agent. I already had that in my head. Like, I just want to be. Even when I stopped playing, I wanted to, be around the game. Never thought about coaching, but I, just actually thought, wanting to be around the game. But then, life hit a little hard. And then, I like I said, I had a child, so after doing basketball and stuff like that. But it really started after I got after I got hurt, I had a knee injury.
Okay.
So it just it kind of brought me down. So I started thinking about life after basketball much more. So I was still playing ball and stuff, but I know I had a child to take care of, so I had to work, stuff like that, get myself right to make sure she all right.
Yes.
Because that became my first priority, but I was still playing with my team in the summer.
Okay.
Summer league team and stuff like that, third rail. So that's how I was keeping myself in shape. I actually had a couple offers to go overseas, but it kind of ended when I got hurt. You never hear from them no more, stuff like that. I got hurt, so that's why I felt like, I can still play basketball, but I still gotta, live.
That's right.
I got somebody I gotta take care of. So that's kind of the way it went afterwards.
Yeah. Now, I know you over at Westside. Which how's it been over there? Again, obviously you went to school there for that quick minute, but just to even be around it, and you seeing Akbar, and you see Gary and all of them just kind of doing their thing throughout the years over there. I mean, still gotta give you a sense of pride just being from North.
Yeah, now when I was when I first got there, a lot of them didn't know, but Cook knew because I had played against them at Essex Catholic. A lot of some teachers did that played basketball. But once I got there, I started being around the team, and they started asking me, I started learning the players and excuse me, I started learning the players and knowing who they was, and, just giving them some advice. And then it's kind of funny because when they find out who you is, they come looking at you. They look at you.
Look at you a little different, yeah.
Mr. Williams, it's you. Oh man, why you didn't say? Because I never really talked to talk about it like that. So when they find out, they're like, "Oh, this you." So they ask me, they start asking me a lot of the basketball stuff. Started attending games, talking to the players and stuff. Just giving them some advice. And now I be around the team a lot. They know me. When they see me, they be like, "You know what I did wrong," and stuff like this and like that. But actually, my supervisor now, he said I'll be around the team so much, he gave me a new name, assistant to the assistant to the assistant.
Yeah, that's got to feel good, though, in a sense, again, just being around it still in some capacity, not necessarily coaching, but the kids see you every day. You know what I mean? That says it all. That says it all.
And they know I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing with them. Yeah. I tell them to respect what I say, because now they know that I did it at the highest, a higher level, stuff like that. And they can learn from me. I tell them, they ask me you really was this, that, and the third. And some people would be like, or some of their parents would be like, "Oh yeah, I remember when he was in school, he was this, that, and they'll come ask me and stuff like that." And I tell them, "Why you never talk about it?" I don't know. Just, it's just me. I'm humble.
Let everybody else talk for you.
Yeah. But it's cool there, It is what it is. It's different from when, we was going to school.
Yes.
I still like something, and I got to know more. I kind of got away from high school basketball in Jersey. So, going back there and cook with the team, they winning state championships. And, you having to travel with them, and he knowing you know basketball.
Yes.
Sometimes you kind of pick your brain and stuff like that, or you tell them some things that you know. But that's how I got, back close to the basketball, by being there, being around Cook and the coaches and stuff like that, the players. My guy Cheese, he like the assistant coach there. So, he always asks me, like, what you think? I tell him, and we go from there. But, yeah, that's how I got back around, high school basketball. So now I never stopped watching basketball.
Okay.
I'm a basketball fanatic. I was always in front of my TV screaming, hollering, and all that stuff. But I got back to high school basketball in New Jersey by being there.
Natural fit. It was probably bound to happen with you being over there. So
my friends is like all my friends is coaches.
Everybody coaching. Yeah, everybody coaching.
So when I see them, I'm looking at them like, those are my guards right there. That's where I got the ball from. So and they having success. So if I see as long as I see them doing good, I'm good. Because I was a product of where they came from. We knew Rams for life.
That's right.
Yeah.
I gotta ask this one though. As solid as you are, and being at North Tech, you never got pulled to go play football? Because what you call he let Aaron rest in peace, but Aaron went to North Tech.
Yeah. Aaron wanted me to come play with him at Shabazz. Because Aaron was a real good quarterback.
Yeah.
I like basketball. I like basketball much more. I wasn't with all that. I didn't want no parts of football at the time. I was too busy in the basketball. Like basketball was the big thing. Football was, you could see my face real good in basketball.
Yeah.
Football.
I just thought I'd ask because, like I said, I know he went there and obviously wound up doing great things playing football.
But by the way, rest in peace, Aaron. He was Aaron neighborhood too up in Velsburg where I lived at. For most of my teenage years. We used to ride the 31 down to Newark Tech together too in the morning.
Okay. Like I said, he great guy from what I never actually met him, but just hearing about him and everything else. Yeah.
He was a good dude. He actually played basketball with us too. But when at Newark Tech started to get fully loaded, Aaron was like, nah, my thing is football. That's why I'm great.
Yeah, let me fall back. Yeah. Basketball, sports, just in general here, like, what has it given you that sticks with you to this day?
Listen, it's just like most of the stuff I've gotten from, sports, basketball. That's how, because I'm kind of like, I don't go out a lot. I wasn't, a person that was always out a lot, but, just meeting the people I've met, the places I've been, like I always appreciate that type of stuff. Like I remember kind of like everything or every place we went, the people I met, the things I've done, just the friends I've made. Because a lot of my friends that I have now, most of them was my friends when we was younger. All of them from basketball. That's, most of, the friends I made in the neighborhood, we still good and everything. But, most of my real good friends was basketball players. And I met them through this basketball journey. And I wouldn't change that for nothing.
Yeah. Nah, most definitely. Mind me throwing you on the spot a little bit. I mean, I know you've seen one or two of these. Kind of actually some random questions, man.
I was kind of preparing my mind.
Look at you. Look at you here, man. You ain't got to prepare, man. Oh, man, it's off the cuff, man. Have some fun, man. But when in the whip, Parkway or the Turnpike, when driving?
been all around there. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna throw you on this one.
Okay.
Newark Airport. Because I say that because I know I'm going somewhere I ain't never been.
Hey, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Most definitely. Most definitely. Great Adventure Action Park.
Great Adventure. No doubt. Great Adventure, even though I ain't been in a while, but Great Adventure.
Let me see see if I got snatch a jersey pass here. What exit is that? Off the pipe, turnpike.
Where Great Adventure?
Yeah.
You know what? You got me on that one. I know it's Jackson, New Jersey.
Yeah, 7A. Yep, 7A.
7A. I know it's Jackson.
Yes.
Got the ball down there too. I don't know. I forgot the number, but I remember the sound is Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
British Walkers or Bally's?
Bally's. Couldn't wear British Walkers when we was younger.
I know you got the name here, but I'm gonna ask about the sneaker here. You got Barclays or Reeboks?
Oh, you know I was wearing Barclays. Yeah, that was my dog. That's why I got, that's kind of how I got those. Little Barclays, I had to put the Barclays on, especially ones with the 34.
Yes. Nah, that's definitely. Definitely. Dr. J's a Universal.
Hey, I'm a Universal guy. You go to Universal and get anything, and they give you deals.
Yeah, climb up ladders, everything, right? Get a pair of jeans.
Go upstairs. You might find something in a box or something. That's where we used to go down there and get fresh. The Levi's, you know how I go. And they had all the sneakers you wanted.
Yeah, definitely. Stuyvesant or South Orange Ave?
So I'm South Orange Avenue. Okay. So my teen years on South Orange Avenue. That's South Orange Avenue of mine. That's why I grew. I honed the skills up there.
Block party of the club.
Man. I think you know what? That's kind of hard because, us growing up, it kind of block parties was fading. So we was going, but yeah, the club. The club, I do the club because block parties was kind of fading as we was coming up in the 90s.
What was your spot as far as the club? What was your go-to?
Oh, man. You gonna make me date myself, huh?
Hey, I'm right here with you, man. It's cool.
Gregory's.
Gregory's. I expect Gregory's. Okay.
What else? I used to be going to a lot of the Peppermint Lounge, the comedy show.
Yes.
We wasn't old enough to get in there at the time, but we somehow got in there.
That the real thing was the let out. It was the let out too. So you
But definitely Gregory's on college night.
Greg, I expect that. That was a good one. That was a good one here. What keep some sandwiches here. Cooper's or Bragman's?
Cooper's. My father raised me on that. That's all he knew. And then it's funny you asked that because now I go over there and he still talk about my father to this day. I remember when he first brought you in, you was a little guy. The sandwich was bigger than you. Now nothing can get bigger. You know what I'm saying? So, but my father didn't do that, so I'm gonna go with Cooper's.
Nah, that's real. That's real.
I learned about problems later on as an adult.
Yeah, nah. You know somebody named Uncle Jerome?
That's my older brother.
Nah, I know. That's why how crazy has it been for his life to just turn out the way it has?
Bro, my brother, you know what? My brother was always a good dude though, cool dude. We have different mothers, but never let that get into anything. I was always his little brother. We had the same father, different mother, but I was always his little brother. He always supported, even before he started bodyguarding for Shaq and stuff like that. But he was always a good dude. Used to bring me in. That's how I started learning, the intricacies of being around NBA players.
Yes.
Because he always bring Shaq around. Shaq up to the house. He he actually like our cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he walk in the house as he would, as if it was his house. You
Mhm.
know, I would been to his house. You know, they took me to games and stuff and introduced me to like teammates and stuff. But my brother always a good dude, man. I got a lot of love for him.
Yeah,
Never like made it an issue that we didn't have the same mother. It was just, it ain't no step in nothing. Just my brother.
yeah. Nah,
Yeah,
that's
everything
cool.
he did, for real.
Yeah, so just even having an opportunity, like you said, just talking about being around Shaq or other NBA players. I mean, that's priceless. That's priceless. Who? Yeah.
Like I would go like in the beginning, I would be like awestruck. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, Shaq. And then after a while, you know, Shaq be like, oh man, you ain't gotta be like that, man. We family. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like he would tell me like sometimes like if we together, like I used to do some bodyguard, you know, sometimes for him, would help my brother out when he go places. And you see people like come get his autograph and stuff. So at the end of the night, I would be like, oh Shaq, let me get you, you know, sign this for me. My brother be like, why would you get him to sign? You got his phone number. You don't need no
Yeah.
autograph. You talk to him when you want. So I had to learn that. I was like, well, that everybody else getting his autograph. Well, I can't get his autograph. So my brother be like, now how that look? You getting his autograph and you got his phone number. That don't look right.
Yeah.
You go talk to him and call him yourself or talk to him in person. So I had to learn how, like, yeah, you know, you right. Yeah, I have a couple autographs, but it was just jerseys and stuff like when I went to the All-Star game. But, you know, most of the time I talk to them in person, wherever they at.
Okay.
If I call and see what's up. And, you know, it just be like a regular relationship. Oh, Big Tim, what's going on, man? You know.
That's what it is. Nah, most definitely. That's what it is, man.
Brother, man, always been a, you know, good dude.
Mm-hmm. Nah. What has Coach Gary meant to you?
Man, Coach Gary, you know what? Man, he started it in teaching us about being like holding yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being a man, you know, knowing right from wrong. Like Gary always, you know, learning that, you know, wherever you go, there's gonna be different rules. Like when I was at Westside, we didn't have the same rules that we had at Newark Tech, because this, you know, being that Gary introduced like at Westside, we could go to the game with just regular, you know, regular clothes. Newark Tech, you got there was kind of like a Catholic school, button up shirt, a tie, and you know you gotta have, you know, you gotta have a haircut and stuff like that. And you know, just being able to hold yourself accountable and, you know, being a man about things. Gary used to use a lot of big words on us, so
yeah,
you had to go to the dictionary to find out what he would say to you. And then, you know, you learn what it is. Like, oh, yeah, I gotta learn. I gotta be better at this. But you know, real instrumental in my life. You know, Gary kept it real with me all the time too. He was one of the coaches. Him, Brian Crawford.
Yeah.
Miss Coach Brown, they always kept it real with me, man. You know, and I was fortunate enough to be around guys like that and guys that, you know, coaches like that. That was in my corner. So shout out to them, Coach Brown, Mr. Gary, and Brian Crawford.
Nah, most definitely. Nah, most definitely here. Playground wise, what's your favorite playground to play at?
Favorite playground to play at? Man, I had to say the whole.
Yeah.
The whole, because that experience is like none other. Like you knew you was good if you was making a shot with somebody hanging on the basket. Or somebody howling out the stands, like, yo, I got this amount of money on this. So, you know, a lot of pressure and a lot of people, but you know, if you can perform down there, you can perform anywhere.
Yeah. Nah. Most definitely.
With the crowd they had it, you had to worry about somebody shaking the backboard when you're trying to make a layup or something.
Nah. Definitely. Game wise here, you've had a bunch of them here. Like best game you ever played in your life at any level.
You know what? Man, let me. I had a game in junior college where I went up against the #1 school in the country, and they actually had my boy Pooh and a kid named Ben Davis that went to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually the funny part was it was looking like Roy Pooh telling him like, yo, that the kid could go. The one dude like, who the little short chubby kid right here? Yeah, I ain't worried about him. But by the end of the night,
Yeah.
he knew he was in a dog fight because the short chubby kid had 44 on him. In front of a bunch of Division I coaches. So, and he was supposed to be like one of the top recruits. He ended up going to the University of Arizona.
Okay.
But then after it was over, he said like, yo, I didn't. Yeah, man, knowing is half the battle. But yeah, that was one of my better games. That was probably the best game because I still remember now. Like sometimes I'll be thinking like, man, this dude ain't had no clue. I was killing him.
Yeah.
Like where he from? Like he's I could do this and that. But yeah, that was one of my better games.
Let me ask, what was your career high ever? What was the most points you ever scored in a game?
I think it was like cop school or like
any time in your life as far as an organized game. What's the most points you ever scored?
Well, I scored like 52 in like a program game I had.
Okay.
It was at Brunswick Park. It was like my first time going out there. I had like 52. Kind of nervous and stuff like that. But after the game started going, you got a lot. You started to get used to it because the old Brunswick Park, you was going downhill when you had to score.
Yeah.
And you run uphill when you're going towards the colonnade. So yeah, that was that was the most points I scored.
Best team you ever been on?
Best team I ever been on? My summer league team.
Who's on that team?
And we was there. That team was loaded. I was listening when Elijah was on here. I'm like, but that team was loaded. We had me, Horace Jenkins, Khalid Corsi, Eli, Bub, Rashawn, Snap, Mufi Thomas, all those guys, man. We was loaded on that team.
Yeah.
And we had a young Davon from Shabazz on that team. We was loaded. Listen, I don't want to mean no disrespect to like the older summer league teams. That's the best that may be the best summer league team ever. Because we went everywhere and won everything. We went out to St. Louis and won a tournament that started at midnight for a week. Then we came here, won East Orange, Branch Brook, Gigi Brown out there in Plainfield. So yeah, those teams, we used to look forward to those summer league games because we knew it was trash talking, but we was backing it up and we was cracking dudes at that time.
Nah, it sound like it. Is there a game that you like to have back?
Oh man.
You laugh, it must be something.
Yeah. That Hillside game.
Yeah.
I listen. Because the play that they called back, I had just hit them with one of the greatest moves I could produce. And one referee said and one, which would have put us up. And we would have had the lead at the end of the game. Another referee came from somewhere and said, no, it's a charge. So, and then they was like, they started clowning, like, oh, we beat him, I told you we could stop him and everything. Like, I said, yo, y'all have a bunch of football players on y'all team, triple teaming me. And y'all still only won by 1 point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game right there, I love to have that back. Because, eventually I would have had my 1,000 points. But the next game, I thought we would have won. And that would have been our third time going to the state championship game.
Okay.
definitely that was my last high school game for North Tech. So yeah, that game I definitely will love to have back. There's a few others, but that's the top one.
Now this one here, obviously being a North guy, I'll put you on the spot. Your all-time North starting five.
Oh.
It could be positionless. It don't even have to be, it could be positionless if you want it. Yeah. It could be your era, it could be your era, however you want to do it.
I'm gonna go with some of the brothers like that I've seen and played against. Like it ain't gonna be like conventional or nothing like that, but I would say like minus me, I like to watch Reggie Lowe play. He went to Shabazz. He's a little older than me.
Okay.
Of course, one of the guys I looked up to, Eric Williams.
Okay.
Ira Bowman.
Ira, okay.
Of course, my guy Elijah Allen. That's my guy. I gotta go with my guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And let me see. One more. I got one more.
One more. Ain't nobody from North Tech on that team.
Oh, it is somebody from North Tech on that, and my bad, because he's my big brother, Ashy Moo. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
You notice people, when you read these little things that's on, everybody talk about nobody don't talk about Ashy Moo, and the reason why, Ashy Moo did a lot of work to catch, yo.
Special. He's special.
But nobody don't say nothing because Ashley Moo kind of low key like me. But hey, Tariq Goodman was the start of that North Tech thing, and one of the reasons why I went there because I'm like, yo, I seen their name up in the paper with St. Anthony's in the big school, and it was all because of him and all that damage he did in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then as he, and when I got there, he kind of took me in. He was like, yo, he kind of let me know like you next. And like he used to always tell me, like, yo, look, you score 5 points a quarter, you average 20.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I, playing with him, I got confident. Even though my sophomore year, when he was a senior, he didn't really like basketball, but just watching him and seeing how he put the work and how he led us that year to that state championship, yeah, him. But nobody don't really talk about it. But I'm gonna give him his due. That boy. That brother was mean, man.
Special. I remember the first time seeing him. I was only played for the Rams when I was like 13, 14, but he was on the year the 15 and unders. It was like him, Wally. It was a bunch of them. Like, but just seeing him, just going. I mean, again, obviously you played for the Rams, so you know how special it is walking up them steps, going to that court there, like crazy.
A lot of battles.
Yeah.
And those times, like, we used to be like 14 years old, but be and throw us into the fire with those guys, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know I left a couple cats off from North, like D-Rock, Lance, them cats. That's who I came up under. That's who, I watched them. A lot of other cats, if I forgot you, my bad, but coming up under them, you ain't had no choice but to be good. Like, those guys were special, and as I got older, they started to learn that they could trust me when they played with me. So, and I've played with all of them. But yeah, coming up under those guys, I learned a lot. That's how my game got better too, man. And we in that gym, that little gym, was some of the best battles you would ever thought, bro, ever seen.
Yeah, we stayed there all day, and like I said.
But once you got in there, you trying to make that team. And you trying to impress Brian Crawford.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I used to love those days.
Yeah. B, his son is actually coaching Weekway.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah. So.
I actually saw B this summer. I saw B this summer at the Pro-Am. He was one of the ones, like, I got a funny story about B too. This one, man. Well, so we in the youth games. We coming off the bus. And I'm one of the captains, so I ain't think I was supposed to grab the ball, the basketballs. And so one of the younger cats was supposed to grab it. And this what taught me a lesson about being accountable, being a leader. when we get upstairs, he calls me and Rashawn McLeod and Halim to the room. So we wonder why we in the room. He's like, yeah, they left y'all, y'all left the tools of the trade on the bus. I'm like, we left the tools of the trade on the bus? He like, oh, y'all expected somebody else to do it? And knowing B, he takes stuff like that serious.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we ended up having to do 100 push-ups.
Mm.
I'm like, man, for what? He like, bro, this what you want to do? This what you doing? You don't leave, would you leave your books at home and try to go learn?
Yeah.
No, you don't leave these basketballs on the bus. I hold you accountable. So me, Rod, Haas had to do 100 push-ups while the other players stand and watch. Mm. That's a lesson because you learn that he kind of taught us like, yo, it start with the leaders, so I'm gonna make them pay first. Mm. So y'all know it's not a game. But I always talk to me about that, like, B, what I do to have to do 100 push-ups? He said, yo, you left the tools of the trade on the bus.
Yeah, yeah.
I never forgot that. I always be like, man, listen, whatever I need, I gotta make sure I got it with me. Because if I don't have it with me, I'm gonna end up getting punished or I'm gonna pay for it in some way. So
them life jewels, them life jewels, yeah.
Yeah. I always get on him about it, like, man, you owe me 100 push-ups, bro. He's like, yo, you still leaving the tools of the trade? I'm like, nah, I'll make sure I got it with me, B.
Nah, definitely. From your era, best basketball player from your era, best high school basketball player from your era.
Robert Rose.
Right? Yeah.
Robert Rose. Like, he was doing stuff that we was just thinking about, like, yo, we already knew. All we heard was it was a freshman. He over there playing. He the best player on the team. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they was doing their thing, but that, that's the best player, from my era I seen. And there's a lot of guys that's very good. Mm-hmm. But like, if you ask him, you want to keep it 100 him because he had the package. He was doing what we wanted to do as freshmen.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, definitely. You best to ever come out of North Tech?
Am I the best to ever come out of North Tech?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know Tariq probably gonna be like, what? I would say Tariq couldn't stop me once I got to my junior year. He'd hit all those jump shots, but he'd have a hell of a time trying to stop me when I get to that post, especially after I got 11th or 12th grade year. Nah, Tariq was the best to ever come out of North Tech. I got to give him his due. He did a lot of things in 2.5 years, yo. Yeah. And like I said, I kind of looked at him, and once he took off and left, I kind of grabbed the mantle. You know what I mean? And did try to do, mimic what he did, lead the team to state championships and stuff. But yeah, Tariq was the best from North Tech by far.
Because, a few years ago, was it less than 10 years ago? I know they had a nice little couple of runs down there too. With Joe was coaching them.
They had a good run. I seen they had a couple of players, but nah, no Tariq Goodman though.
Yeah, nah, definitely.
And I think what they do, like I think another guy that I came up under that I had to take bumps and bruises from, Marquise Bragg.
Yeah.
He's still a coach down there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's coaching there now. Yes.
Yeah. So, once again, one of the guys that I had to come up under, take bumps and bruises from, he probably gave me the business a couple times. Mm-hmm. But nah, Tariq was the best that ever came that I know from North Tech.
Yeah.
Nah. And then me.
Then you. And then, okay.
B.
Nah. Get no argument from me here, man. I know you mentioned being a father earlier. What's the best part about being a dad?
And the best part about being a father, I kind of like just watching my daughter do her thing, like she just recently graduated a couple years ago, so I get kind of emotional because I'm proud, and she did she went all the way and got her bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
You kind of want your kids to do more than what you did, and she did more than what I did. So when I watched her walk across that stage and graduate and stuff like that, that made me, I was a proud father.
Mm.
Like, so that was the best. My daughter,
Mm.
she's still doing big things now. So shout out to her. But yeah,
Nah, that's great, man. I love hearing that.
across that stage. And eventually I'm gonna have to go back and get mine. So I want to, show her that I ain't finished. That I'm gonna continue to do what I got to do. But she did what I didn't do, and that was my purpose in life, to get her where she needed to be.
Mm. Nah, that's great to hear, because I got a late start, Tim. I got a little 8-year-old. I got a daughter, a little 8-year-old. So again, just you hearing that, I'm like, uh-oh.
Your daughters they stick to their father. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you seen it, she looked just like, just without the beard. So, but yeah, she was kind of like, when she graduated and went across the stage during the pandemic, she stuck it out during that time. Still got her degree and working on going further now. So yeah, that was like my proudest moment, being a father.
Nah. Speaking of best hit, what's best part about being you?
Just being me. Like, I'm me every day. Like, everybody gonna tell you I ain't never changed. I'm the same since since we was younger. I'm loyal. I'm always going. I'm down. I'm always gonna have my friends back and stuff like that. And just staying humble every day, just being me. I try to stick to that. Just being who I am every day, not trying to step outside of the box or be something that I'm not. I just, I'm in my own lane. So the best part about being me is me.
No, that's what it is. That's what it is. I know you got a whole lot more living to do, but in the meantime, a book on your life, what would you call
it? Unfinished business. Because like I got some things that I always think about, like, I maybe had left, early in life, left things unfinished. So as an adult, I want to try to finish things out, see all the way out. Make sure I finish, the journey, the job, whatever. And that, as an adult, because I just younger, we start something and not finish it and stuff like that. It was cool, but like I said, as far as like getting my degree, that's one of the things I felt like that's unfinished.
Yes.
But it's in my mind. I'm going to go back and get it. But yeah, like a book on me, unfinished business.
Unfinished business. Yeah. Nah.
I ain't done yet.
Nah, so. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. At this point in your life, what advice would you give that 17, 18-year-old Tim, senior year of high school? What advice would you give him?
Just in as far as like them being young, enjoy it. It's a different time that they growing up than we growing up. Like, it's a little rougher, just so I would say be safe, enjoy your high school years, and take nothing for granted. Because in a few years, you're going to be that adult, and things going to change drastically, and you're going to have to learn how to accept it and deal with it. But yeah. Now, I can get them and be safe. Like the times now, our kids is they're going through a lot, and being that where I work at, I see a lot of stuff, and the things that they're going through. Just be safe, enjoy being a teenager, and just and stay humble. You gotta get you a long ways in life, man. Just always be you.
Yeah.
I tell the kids that all the time. They like, what they ask me, I'm telling you, what you see is what you get from me. I ain't no different inside of school and outside of school, except I got the blue uniform on in school.
That's right.
Got the security uniform in school, but outside of them, I still laugh with them. I joke with them, you know what I'm saying? Do things like that. I'm always going to be that way.
Yeah. I know she's no longer here, but what would your mom say about you?
Uh, well, my mother, I don't know, being that, like I said, I was a baby, my mother gonna always think I did, she gonna always have my back. But as far as like being a man, she would be happy with me.
Yeah.
Like, cause I never, I never veered off the path that she probably wanted me to go to. But and I just always been this way. So I always thought about thinking about how people feel and stuff like that, and just living life and being and doing it the right way.
Yeah. How about your dad?
You said my father? My
Yes.
father, probably, he'll probably call me he'd be like, oh, that old bum, he ain't doing nothing, but nah. Nah, my father would be proud of me, especially like being a man and a father, because that's all, once I had my daughter, he always would tell me like, well, you gotta grow up.
Mm.
I was all still kind of kiddish, but and just being, working hard, being me, staying the course, not being a problem child or not doing dumb stuff as an older dude. My father would be proud of me,
Mm-hmm.
He was like, but he would, he was the type of father like he wouldn't say it out loud,
Mm-hmm.
but you could see it at the end.
Yeah.
You can see it at the end. You'll know when he's proud of you because he'll say some little stuff, but then he'll go back to, oh, you ain't nothing but a bum.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stuff like that. Not meaning it, but how your father was there, say stuff like that. But nah, he would definitely be proud of me as as a man and
Mm-hmm.
want me to and try to encourage me to be more or do
Mm-hmm.
more.
Yeah.
Because the job is never done, you know what I'm saying?
Nah. Most definitely, man. And Tim, I appreciate this. Like I said right from the door, beginning all this, man. I was trying to flag you down once this whole thing around Essex County and everything I started doing here. I was like, I got to somehow get you here. Then I know when we spoke, it's crazy, and I had to think about. I was like, I passed Day Crossing. You say, Ed, he's as far as your nephew on his mother's side, you're his uncle. On his father's side, I'm his first cousin. You know what I
He
mean?
always told us, so when I heard about it, I was like, yeah, you know what I do? He family. He might
Yeah.
not, recognize it or know, but we family. My nephew
Mhm.
is your cousin and stuff like that. On different side of the, on
Right.
his side, and that's my sister's son.
Yeah, Irene's son. Yeah,
So, but still, we family. So of
absolutely.
course, I do it for you. It took a little longer, but I didn't want you to think I forgot about it. So that's why, the past couple of weeks I've just been keeping up on it. Like I'm gonna do this. And plus,
Nah. It's cool, man. It's funny you mentioned that, and again, I know just having. I mean, people get around to it. I know some folks want to just kind of cool, not saying much, which is totally fine. I mean,
yeah,
again, so I get all either way it goes here. So before you just you know turn back around, but like, hey, let's do it. I appreciate this, man. Like, special,
that
Tim.
was
You special, man.
never a doubt of doing it. Never
Mm-hmm.
a doubt of doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
then people don't, like I said, people never hear me talk about my basketball journey and stuff like that. So now they hear me talking about it and stuff like that. They'll be like, oh yeah, well, that's Big Tim, and like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And it was kind of good to talk about the old time,
Yeah.
You might ruffle a couple feathers that somebody did damage to, but it'll be all right. They'll be all
Nah,
right.
they'll live with it. Hopefully they'll live years later, they'll figure it out. They done got this far, getting their feathers ruffled. So they'll be all right.
Appreciate it, bro.
Nah, thanks, Tim. I know I say that to everybody, man. I gotta just plan like a day or a weekend or something. I just come down and get a spot somewhere and just have everybody come through who's willing to come through, man. We just hang out and do whatever, man. Like I said, I got to figure something out just to get everybody together. If I can't do that, at least individually try to check on folks and say what's up and just break bread or what have you, man.
That's what it is. You got my number. You can always call me. I'm down for it.
Cool. Nah, again, appreciate it, Tim, and I'm sure we'll talk much sooner than later.
All right, bro. Thank you.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Peace. Joys of doing this. Getting able to catch up with folks that I know of, know a little bit about, know a whole lot about. Regardless here, like I said, this has been a joy. And Tim, like I mentioned to you, you was on that wish list of mine. So thank you for just sharing a little bit of your walk here. With that being said, I'm just gonna step away. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.